Hey everybody, welcome to the weekend shave video with Justin the Red Island Shaver. So I know it's a day late, but yeah, what can you do? Wasn't really into the whole shaving mood yesterday, and I really wasn't into the whole shaving mood all week, as you guys can probably tell. Get in here, quite a few days worth of growth, but part of that is I want to do a little bit of an experiment as well. So before we get started, happy St. Patrick's Day. For those of you that are going to be partaking in the festivities tonight, please drive safe and enjoy responsibly. That's your public service announcement for today. So the soap we're going to use today, it's in a First Canadian tub, but it is not First Canadian. This is something that is a love-hate soap for a lot of people. It's a very clean, soapy scent, and yes, we're talking about Williams. That's right. This is Williams mug soap. So, generally you soak this for a while, and I'm just going to get right into lathering this. As I talk, I'm going to use the Coyote Cuts Psychedelic Funk soaked in distilled water, a fairly damp knot, and we're going to load right out of this. So, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that doesn't look like a Williams puck. And no, it does not. So what I did was I took a very, very fine grater, pretty much like a microplaner, and I grated it very, very, very finely into this tub, and then a little bit of that water out, and then added just enough water to tamp it all down, and then pushed it into the tub. And then let it dry for a day. And then what you see is what we get. So the reasoning for doing that is I was hoping to get a nice, easier way to load this. Because loading off the puck is kind of a pain. And I wanted to see if it would retain a bit of moisture. And lo and behold, it did. So that's why I didn't bloom it this time. I did use this once off camera and I bloomed it and soaked it like you normally would with Williams. And I did get a kind of runny lather. But noticing after that, the soap has still retained a bit of moisture. So sitting in the tub this way, it is performing basically like most other soaps on the market, where they still have a little bit of moisture. Even like, you know, the hard puck soaps, they have a little bit of give. You can feel it in them. And this is feeling the exact same way. So I think this will work better without blooming at this time around. And as you can see, that's a nice solid load on the brush right there. And it's not running. It doesn't look bubbly. So I'm just going to scoop some of that excess off and put it on the face. So that's part of the reason for the 8 days worth of growth. Kind of wanted to do an acid test on this, just to see, you know, how well hydrated it's going to be, how well I can make the lather, and see if it can tackle that much growth. So we will just go right ahead and paint this on. I could tell right off the bat that this should perform quite well, actually. It's going on just like a normal load off of any other puck would go. And contrary to popular belief, Williams does like taking a bit of water, so I think we're going to get a good lather out of this. So hopefully everybody's having a great weekend. Mine's going pretty good. And the shave is going to feel nice, I know that. And we'll just work in some more distilled water. And this stuff does lather quite well with distilled water too, by the way. As you can see, the brush is quickly getting filled with lather. does not appear to be airy and bubbly. It's becoming quite dense. Quite a bit of facial hair to help with the scrub. Just lost a gob of lather there in the sink. I think we'll just dip the tips one more time and that will be good. Very nice, very nice. That looks like a pretty good lather to me. Maybe just a little airy. I can't really tell anymore by sight, but yeah, it looks decent. It's slick, I'll tell you that. Let's see how well it holds up in the lather ball. All right, so for part 2 of this experiment, I'm going to go with the DE today. So that DE is my Icon Shavecraft 101. Love this razor. Let's see if I can get see if you can get the bottom plate in there. Get the name. There. The Icon 101. So this is an open comb / closed comb. Now, I'm going to start with the open comb with this much growth. I definitely want the open comb side to start, and that allows the lather to pass through the combs, because with this much facial hair, that's a lot for a razor to take off at once. I will say this soap definitely slick. I think I added a bit too much water. But it's very slick. And that's why I like starting with the open comb. Leaves a bit of that lather. I can go back and do a bit of buffing. The common misconception too with open combs is that they're more aggressive, and I don't believe they are. I think the aggressiveness comes down to the blade gap that is designed into the razor. The open comb doesn't make the shave any more aggressive or mild. And like I said, for as far as buffing goes, an open comb is great for that. Especially if you have a really thick lather. This one did get a little bit thin, but if you have a really thick lather, it will leave more lather on your face. Allowing you to get a little bit more out of each pass. That's what I like about them. Alright, so we're going to do pass number 2. I'm going to do the closed comb side on this. If you're wondering what blade is in here, it is a Voskhod on its first use. My favorite blade. Works wonderfully in this razor, actually. Yeah, that facial hair is just disappearing now. And I gotta say, even though the lather is just a little bit thin, but I mean, it was kind of gloopy, but it almost seems like it's solidified a little bit in the brush because it's holding up well in the scuttle. It is actually very slick with the distilled water. Now, this is the second attempt using Williams with distilled water. As many of you know, I switched over to all distilled water for everything. And I gotta say, I think it has actually made a difference between the hard water that I have and with this distilled water lather. This is actually quite slick. Like there's no blade feel on the face. I mean, you guys seen the amount of growth I had. That's 8 solid days. I haven't shaved since the last video. And I'm not getting any irritation or anything. So I'm kind of really liking this Williams experiment in the tub. And as you can see, I mean, that's good coverage right there. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It feels nice and thick on the face. So far, I'm liking it. So if you've had some problems with Williams, maybe take an empty tub if you have one, grate it in, add a little bit of water, and then form it into a puck in the tub, what have you. So for the final pass, I'm going to use the open comb side again. The reason for that, I want to be able to do a little bit of buffing. So my final pass will basically be the third pass and the cleanup all at the same time. Yeah, I gotta say, this is actually quite slick with the distilled water. I'm going back over areas fairly well here, doing quite a bit of buffing. And there's actually still quite a bit of slickness on the skin. And that's pretty much a near BBS right there. Yep. That's that. Do the rinse off and the post. Very nice. Very nice. So there's the key. If you're having problems with Williams and you want to try and use it, like I know there's a ton of high-end stuff on the market. And I have a lot of that high-end stuff, don't get me wrong, and I love, love, love all my high-end stuff. But you know what? I really love Williams too. I like just kicking it back to basics. Using something like that, and if you can get a killer slick lather with that, then I mean, that's great. I mean, that's an all-around BBS right there. That was actually a perfect shave. So with Williams, I always got to go with the classic Old Spice. That's just the way I'm geared. I mean, it just screams Old Spice, right? The classic soapy scent, the classic Old Spice. Yeah, I'm not anticipating any feedback on this. Nothing, not even a tingle. Perfect shave. And as you notice, I left the mustache area. I'm gonna let my goatee grow in. Full goatee again. I almost contemplated growing the beard, but I think I'll just go full goatee. I got a new trimmer. My old trimmer was a piece of crap. That's why I shaved off the mustache, because it was kind of hard to kind of keep it trimmed. Got a new trimmer, so I think I'll go with this. But yeah, no, perfect shave. Perfect shave, guys. And yeah, there's the Old Spice I use. Just the generic, run-of-the-mill Old Spice. Here's the brush. See how that lather held up in the brush? And look at that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a good lather. Nice and warm. So that's the shave for today, guys. The Williams in the tub. So like I said, microplaner, a little bit of water, smush it all down, drain the excess water off, let it dry uncovered for 24 hours, put the lid on, throw it in your rotation, and if you really want to pump that lather up, or any of your soaps, if you have hard water, I would suggest getting distilled water. And I'll show you what I use. So, Walmart, Equate distilled water. It was like $1.97 for 4 liters of this stuff, and I get, I don't even know how many shaves I get out of that, but I get a lot. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Kicked it old school today. Just a fantastic shave. Couldn't be happier with how that experiment turned out. As you can see, that's 8 days worth of growth gone to a BBS shave. So anyway, I'll cut you guys loose. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. As always, have a great day and an even better shave. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.